Hello and welcome to another episode of Official Strongman News. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Bland, and this week we're doing something a little bit different. First thing that's different is, obviously, you've been away for quite some time. I think it's been 6 months since the last time we did one of these. But the main important thing is we're going to be covering all of the guys and the events that are going to be going on at World's Strongest Man that's currently underway. The athletes obviously haven't started competing yet, but they're testing the equipment, doing the interviews, and they're all out there in Botswana. Should be incredible. First things I'll get out of the way. No, we're not live streaming it. Yes, it's probably, if you're in the UK, you won't be watching it till Christmas. There might be some random Facebook videos and whatnot roaming around, but it's the way it is. It's a TV show, guys, and that's how World's Strongest Man makes its money. So it is what it is, and fortunately it gives them enough time to make a very high quality TV show for us. So without further ado, guys, let's get on with it. As I'm sure you're aware, guys, there's 5 groups that the guys are seeded into, and they are seeded. It's not just random groups with top guys working their way through, so that it doesn't all end up having basically World's Strongest Man final in the group stages. Then, as it goes through from there, the top 2 guys qualify from each and move their way through into the final. So in Group 1, it's quite a contentious group actually. Some strong competitors. You will see as we go through. Some of the groups seem a little bit stronger than others, some seem a little bit easier, and it all depends on where athletes have ranked in different competitions in the lead up to it. So there's been a few people mentioned about Laurent Charlet's group. Well, Laurent Charlet getting a very high ranking in it, but he is Europe's Strongest Man, which is one of the most prestigious events, if not the most, outside of World's Strongest Man. So he understandably gets a very high ranking in this. But we'll move on, even though he hasn't won World's Strongest Man in the past or come top 3. But we have Group 1, Johannes Aho from Sweden. Johannes is looking really strong, so close to taking second at Europe's Strongest Man. I mean, so close. Sweden's Strongest Man multiple times. He, again, just lost out to Thor at Giants Live in Sweden. A fantastic competitor and one I'm hoping all the best for. Big thing with that as well is Johannes has got is fit, is in great shape. So it's not just his strength that's going to help him here, it's going to be his moving, and he's a tenacious guy too, so that'll play into it. Next up we have Mark Felix. I need to say nothing about Mark Felix, but I'm going to anyway because it's Mark Felix. He'll be competing soon in World's Strongest Masters as well. But the most important thing is Mark Felix is a freak. Grip, anything like that, deadlift's going to be playing into him. He does seem to be slowing down ever so slightly, but still, I think he's definitely one to watch and could very likely to be the one to make it through from this. Next up we have Martin Licious, an American guy. He's actually been looking very strong in training. New guy to this event, to this competition, but could definitely be one to watch. Next up we have Jess-Belle Sag. Matt Jess, I want to say, is about 24 now, and he is a phenomenal athlete, an absolute freak. Definitely going to be playing for one of those top 2 spots. Very young, very fast, very strong. And then the other end, we have Robert Oberst. Not suggesting that he's old or anything, but he's a different sort of end of that. He's a big unit, strong guy, strong overhead, in great shape, but will be able to compete with the likes of Matt Jess. Final athlete in that group is Luke Stoltman, Scottish guy, very fast, very fit, not as strong as the others, but great mover. And in fairness, quite a lot of these events are moving in their group. They have oil drum race, Hercules hold, squat lift, there's Atlas stones always, fingers, and I think that's it. Oh, and a dumbbell overhead press. Personally, I think these are going to play very much into the hands of Johannes, Felix, and Jess-Belle Sag. If I was forced to pick, I think it might be Johannes and Jess, but I don't know. And honestly, Mark Felix, prove me wrong, please. Group 2, we have some big names actually, starting off obviously with Eddie Hall. He's made some huge claims about he's coming home with the gold from this, and while people might not have believed him before he made huge claims, arguably bigger claims about being able to be the first man in history to pull 500, he then went and did that, and kind of now feel like he's got that, what is it, Midas touch, where everything turns to gold. He said it. I mean, I don't want to argue with that. He's very, very strong, obviously. And his fitness has been looking very good. Lost a lot of weight since that deadlift competition and looking strong. Very strong. Next up, we have the Pole, Gregor. Guy's looking great, as always. Probably not going to be pushing for that top 2 spot, but still a great athlete. Next up, we have Nick Best, who could be. Very, very much could be. 47 years old, he'll be competing at World's Strongest Masters later this year. But it's just a freak athlete, ex-powerlifter, always comes into it very strong, and he's getting better at moving events every single time. Next up, we have Adam Bishop. Adam is so good at these sort of events. And I think it could really play to him. He didn't have a great showing at Europe's Strongest Man. Well, he had a great showing, but I'm sure he'd have liked to do better. Incredibly mobile, incredibly fast, and he's getting stronger every single competition. So could be his time. Could be his time to take that top 2. Then we have John Olaf Granley. Honestly, guys, I'm afraid I know very little about him, and hence this video being made. We have zero Wi-Fi at the Giants Pro office, so it's just gone down. So I'm afraid I can't do any more research into him, but he's from... And then we have in our next competitor we have up is Frank Olahome. He's the Nigerian competitor. They always pick one from sort of the home county. When it was in China, it was the same. So this will be his first time at World's Strongest Man, and a great opportunity for him. Not sure he'll be making it through to the top 2 though. The events in this really favour Eddie Hall. He's got a truck pull, a deadlift, keg toss, Viking press, and Atlas stones. All events he's actually very good at. So I think it's fair to say Eddie Hall will be going through. And honestly, I see it as a tie-up then between Nick Best and Adam Bishop. Both very different sort of athletes. Nick very, very strong, a little less explosive and a little less fit. Adam obviously very fit, very explosive, not quite as strong. For me, Group 3 is the tough one. You've got Derek DeVaughn, Terry Hollands, Hathor Bjornsson, Colin Wolf. For me, Group 3 is the tough one. You've got some incredible competitors in it. I mean, just the first 3 guys. Hathor Bjornsson, been on the podium multiple times. Terry Hollands, been on the podium, also very, very strong. Derek DeVaughn, an incredible American guy that's coming through and looking fantastic. Those 3 guys alone, all in any of the other groups, would probably be pushing for those top 2 spots. But there's more. Colin Wolf and Yoni Hansen, as well as the Georgian Konstantin Janasha. I want to say, if my pronunciation's off, I apologise. But these guys are very, very strong. All of them. It's tough. I mean, even someone like Yoni Hansen, not really on the top of that list, but a phenomenal Swedish athlete. Group 3 has got a loading race, a deadlift, dumbbell press, Atlas stones, and Fingal's fingers. And these are going to play more towards a sort of... They're not going to play as much into Terry Holland's favour, I don't think, which is a big shame, mainly because I love Terry Hollands. But I think Thor is pretty much a solid lock to go through there. But I honestly think there's an outside chance Yoni Hansen taking that second spot, but I think it's probably going to be Terry taking that second one. So Group 4 is the group that a few people have suggested is a little bit easy. I'm not sure I 100% agree with that, if I'm honest. There's some big names in it, but I do agree that the winner is almost predetermined, and I'd have to say that'd be Lawrence Chalet, winner of Europe's Strongest Man, plus the events do suit him quite well. Say, however, that there's not any other tough competitors in the group. There's Jean-Francois Caron. Yep, I hope I haven't butchered that too badly. Dan Carradine and Brian Benzel, 2 very strong American guys. They're both on Official Strongman, so go have a look, check them out. But these guys are good competitors and could cause an upset. We have Michael Lecht of Norway, and then we have Ari Gunnarsson of Iceland. It's a strong field. It is a very strong field, but I have to say, I think there's going to be a good battle for second place, obviously with first most likely going towards Lawrence. And I'd say that's probably going to be between Jean-Francois Caron as the sort of the favourite for that second spot, but Brian and Stan battling it out to try and take that from him. So Benny Magnussen is out, but I'm not 100% sure on who's replacing him. I've heard rumours of someone from one of the Scandinavian countries and someone from South Africa, I want to say. But either way, I'm afraid they're not going to be to the similar standards of someone like Benny Magnussen, who is arguably one of the strongest men to have ever walked the earth, with his biggest ever raw deadlift. There is, however, a lot of other guys in this group that are going to be very contentious. The main one we should probably get out of the way early is Brian Shaw. Probably going to win the group. A phenomenal athlete. It's Brian Shaw. What more do you need to say? In the absence of Big Z, Brian Shaw is probably the favourite to win this competition by quite some way. Whether he will or not, it's a different matter. But he's definitely the favourite. Moving on from that, we have someone that I think is going to be winning competitions a lot, and by competitions I mean World's Strongest Man in the future, and that's Matthias Klikliowski. Again, probably butcher his name, but this guy was fantastic at Europe's Strongest Man. He's a young guy coming through, and he's just going to be getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Hopefully, if I'm honest, I'd like to see him take that second spot and get experience of the finals, because I think soon, as I've mentioned, he'll be coming back to win it soon. Someone that might have a problem with that though is Eben Larue, who's a fantastic strongman, a veteran of the game, and will be doing everything in his power to battle for that place. We also have in here Charlie Goff, who qualified through Official Strongman. He was spotted at the European Deadlift and Log Championships that we held at the O2 Arena. Fantastic event, the results are going up today, so you'll be able to see that. But he did a fantastic job there and was spotted by Darren and Colin, and they invited him along. So hopefully he can cause a little bit of an upset. He'll probably just be wanting to test out the field and just enjoy the experience. Final competitor is Jared van Statten from South Africa. Again, been around a while, been looking to cause an upset with this very contentious group. Let's see if he can. With a keg toss, truck pull, deadlift, Viking press, and Atlas stones, I have to say, I could see it going. Brian Shaw is going to win this group, I think that's fair to say. But some of those events really look like they suit Eben over Matthias, specifically that overhead. Matthias he's a tall guy, and he almost looks thin in comparison to some of these guys. But my money's still on him. I think he'll take that second spot. Be fantastic to see. Guys, hope you've enjoyed this. I'll be doing another one as it goes through, on just talking about the finals, going into a bit of detail on that. But for now, guys, hope you've enjoyed it. I'm afraid there won't be any fancy animations, as I'm sure you'll have already noticed as you've watched this. We have zero Wi-Fi, so I'm going to get this and probably go sit in a cafe somewhere and upload it. Thanks, guys.